Welcome, guys. This is Two Chicks Coturnix, and we are going to bring you the scoop, not the poop, on Coturnix Quail. I'm Rebecca Lynch from Thieving Otter Farm.
And I'm Leah with Southern Biophiliac Urban Farm.
And we are just two friends that want to talk about quail. So, Leah, what's new in your world?
Well, the sky tried to kill us last week, so that was pretty interesting.
Oh, well, that sounds pretty dramatic, but seeing as how you just went through like a category 3 hurricane, I guess it was pretty dramatic.
Yeah, just a little
bit. So here in Tennessee, we don't really usually have hurricanes, but what did you end up doing to prepare for such a thing?
That's the one thing I do appreciate about hurricanes is that we have time to prepare, unlike tornadoes. So preparations started about 4 days prior. Once they announced that it was going to be something major. And so we started to secure all the birds, bring all the outdoor animals inside. I built a fort for my plants. They survived too. And we basically ended up having a farm party in the barn because I had to bring all the outdoor animals inside.
Yeah, you sent me a picture of that. It looked like it was honestly kind of fun. Leah's got all kinds of various poultry, and they were all hanging out together in the barn. I probably would have been sitting there on the floor hanging out with them too.
If I had more time, that would have happened.
So
we were in a rush.
Yeah, you ended up having some pheasant problems, didn't you?
Yeah, so pheasants weathered the storm just fine. We were transporting them back to their outdoor pen once we got it repaired. And somebody, I won't name names, one of my younger children, left one of the doors unlatched, and 2 of them took off. And they went, and they went, and all I saw is in the sky, them turn into tiny little black dots. And they were gone, long gone. So that was kind of heartbreaking. With all the destruction that had happened that day, that was like the last thing I needed. And then when I went out the next day, one of the pheasants is sitting outside of the pen.
Rock on.
So we snuck around and snatched that one up. And then I went back to check on the rabbits, and there was the second one. And I got both my children like, get over here fast. And we had to like corral him, but not scare him enough that he took off. And we were able to get him caught. I mean, my son jumped on him. I was like, go now, do it. And we just put him back in the pen.
Oh man, there's nothing like, having your animals survive through a major hurricane and then losing them from just an average mess up.
Yeah, like we had them locked down secure and then just leave the door open. Bye.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I've been there. I accidentally left my apiary door open once and had about 300 birds escape. It was the middle of July, and it was just so hot and so humid. And after I chased about 5 birds, I was over it. And I was just like, I was trying to decide, do I just wave goodbye to the other like 295 birds?
Oh no.
Or do I pay the neighbor boy 50 cents a bird to catch them? And he did. He came over. He did about 30 birds, and he was like, it's hot. I was like, yeah, why do you think I'm having you scurry after birds? So, well, what's new with your quail projects?
Actually, picking back up on a blue project that I had started earlier in the year, but kind of put on the back burner. So awesome. I wanted to see what blue and calico look like together because I've never seen it. So we've done the first cross, and those birds have grown out. So I'm getting ready to set up for the second cross, and hopefully I'll see it in this one.
Awesome. And of course, you've got your rue pansy line.
Yes. Those will always probably be an ongoing project. They'll be here forever.
They're gorgeous. I can tell you've put a lot of work into those.
Thank
So
you.
yeah, over here I've been playing with a new gene. I have this habit of wanting to own every variety of Coturnix that's available, every gene, every mutation. I wanna have it. And recently got my hands on a German import of Progressive Pied. So Progressive Pied used to be in the US, for those who are listening and aren't familiar. Used to be in the US, but kind of disappeared. And I managed to get my hands on some. And the cool thing about it, so progressive is kind of in the name. And so the chicks start out just normal chick color. They can be any kind of pattern, color, whatever. And then as they age, they get white feathers. And it starts out just a little feather here and there, and then all of a sudden it's like an explosion of white. And it's
I'm
really
so
cool.
excited for
So
those.
yeah, I'm they're so new to me. I'm still learning about them, and I set up I grew my first ones out, and I set up some breeder pens, and I can't wait to start hatching those out. So I'm excited. So, speaking of breeder pens, so yeah, everybody is. I'm
I need
getting
some in
lots of
my
people,
Christmas stocking.
right? So um so speaking of breeder pens, I don't know about you, but I get a lot of questions, and one of the big questions that I get this time of year is why are my birds not laying anymore? How about you, Leah? Are
Yes,
you seeing
yes.
that?
A few times a week, someone's reaching out and asking that exact same question.
Yep. Are my birds broken? Like, and so people are trying to change their feed, and they're thinking their birds are sad, or something else. But it's really common this time of year. For those of you who are new to the quail game, this is a time of the year when the days are getting shorter, and quail happen to their life cycle, their bodies are governed by light, and they need 14 to 16 hours of light in order to lay and to remain to have a reproductive cycle. The males won't even produce foam, females won't lay, they'll stop crowing, they kind of shut down for the winter.
It's
Leah,
even
what do you
difficult to
do?
catch chicks too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. What do you do on your farm to help with that? Do you do anything in particular to keep your birds laying, or no?
We do. So we do have our birds on a light timer. It comes on at 5 a.m. and runs till about 7:30, and then by that time they have daylight, and then it usually kicks on about 6 p.m. and runs till about 9.
Oh, great, great. Yeah, ours. So our birds are in a building, and so it's pretty easy. We just have our lights on a timer as well. We don't have a whole lot of windows or anything like that. So our lights are completely on a timer, and they stay on the same schedule year round. And for that, we don't really have a break in laying. Do you have a specific type of lighting, or like something that you recommend that works well for you?
We actually use grow lights. So
Okay.
the same lights that because they're pretty natural, and mimic the sun. So and they don't get hot. They don't emit much heat at all, and that just for fire protection, safety reasons. That's why I like them.
Oh, that's great. I never thought
Yeah,
about that. And you're referring to like the ones for like growing plants, like in a nursery?
yeah, yeah, yeah. They
Okay.
worked out, and they don't use a lot of energy either. So yeah,
Oh, that's fantastic. I hadn't thought about that, and probably the different light spectrum would probably be good for them as well, huh?
I think so. I try to do everything as close to nature as possible. Um, I think it just helps them out a lot.
Yeah, yeah. One thing that I found interesting, you know, different levels, intensity of light can cause different issues. So for, just keeping your quail, laying, you don't need a whole lot of light. You really only need enough that you can kind of read by. Um, and one of the things that I've read is that too much light. So if people, have really really bright shop lights, or something set up that's super bright, it can actually cause aggression. um that they just, yeah, I guess I would be a little ticked off
I
if
would
I
be
had.
too.
I,
I
I
would
think
be
about when,
too. I
yeah,
like it
driving
dim.
at night and you get those LED headlights in your eyes, and you just, you kind of want to swerve into that person, and so
Yeah.
I guess I'd be a little angry as well. um Yeah, and the other thing is that you can have too much light as far as the amount of time that it's on. So you really don't want over 16 hours, because if you get too much, it becomes really stressful. Seen people, go, can I just leave it on 24 hours a day? And they really do need that day night cycle,
Yeah,
like
they'll
we
throw the
do.
birds off. Yeah,
Yeah,
because they just
absolutely.
won't know when to sleep, when to anything.
Yes, you don't want stress with your birds. It's
No.
no fun.
I know I'd be
Um,
pretty angry if the lights were on all day long.
right. Especially if they were really bright. So,
Yeah, yeah. Bright and all day
yeah,
long, not for me.
no, no.
I'd stop
So,
laying. I'd be done.
right, go on strike.
Yes.
So, I'm, as I mentioned, my birds are indoors, in a building, but I do have, in the past, have had some in an aviary outside, and I've used solar lights, like string lights for, like people will use around their patio and stuff like that are really,
And
kind
I've
of cute
heard,
little dangly things.
yeah, I've heard people having good luck with the Christmas lights too.
Yeah, yeah, those work
Yeah,
as well. And those are great because they're, not super intense, and you can, string them across the entire cage or multiple cages and stuff. And you can make it kind of cute too out in your yard.
yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah.
with the solar, you don't have to, worry about, stringing up uh extension cords and tripping over stuff or whatever. So they work pretty good for me.
Yeah, they make it a lot more simple for sure.
And I guess we could mention that the reverse is true. Like you can use a lack of lighting in certain ways. Do you ever keep a bachelor pen?
I do. And I don't have, like, I know people have put them, like, dimmed them down to
Hmm.
reduce aggression and things like that. I mean, I don't deal with that with my birds. So
Right.
I haven't had to put them in the dark. And I know sometimes people will do that too if they're getting ready for culling them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's something that I've found is useful with my bachelor pens is I'll often, if I have a stack of pens and like the bottom tier doesn't get as much light, I'll put my boys in that, and not having as much light can kind of get them to chill out and not be quite as rambunctious. But you're right. Breeding for temperament, you don't have as much of those issues. Um, so that's pretty cool.
And I do
Uh,
like to mention too, like if people aren't pushing for their quail to lay eggs all winter and they want a long life for them, that, they don't have to be on lights. It's not a necessity. If you want to let them have a break, let them have a break.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great point. I don't put lights on my chickens. I let
Same.
them have a winter break, and I do put lights on my quail, um, but that's kind of the way I look at it. My chickens are going to have a really long life, whereas quail generally they stop laying. They stop having good fertility. About 10 months for males and about 12 months for females. And so as a breeder, I kind of want to get the most out of my birds as I can while I can. So I'll keep lights on them and then replace them, at 10 and 12 months. So
yeah, we do the same thing here.
yeah.
So the only birds I don't have on light are our ones out in our outdoor pens, and we just let them go through the natural cycle.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
All right, guys. So Rebecca's got a special coupon code for thanks for you guys joining in.
Yeah, thank you all for joining in to our first show. So to celebrate, let's do Spooky 25 for Halloween. And that coupon code will be good until
October 31st.
Rock on. Thank you all for joining in.
Take care, guys.